Yo, what's up, guys? You're listening to WVUM 90.5, the voice of the University of Miami. My name is Julia, here with Searchparty every week exploring a different obscure genre of music. But this week we are having local artist Andre of 7D coming in to play a live show.
Hello.
He just finished putting his stuff together, so just before we start playing any music, why don't we just do a little bit of get to know your neighbors sort of thing. Andre is not a local Miamian, but he has been here for, how long have you been here for now?
15 years, so I may as well be from here because I'm from Minnesota and my blood is thinned out so much that I can't take the cold weather, so I may as well be from Miami now.
Yeah, it's about the same for me, but so how long have you been making music under the name 7D?
7D, about a year and a half. Well, actually, maybe a little longer. 2011, I'd say.
So where does the name 7D come from?
7D is short for the seventh dimension, which is the cosmic realm of sound that all six-dimensional geometric forms are formed through vibrational resonance. It's pretty much the entire universe is held together by a gravitational sound boundary, and that is the seventh dimension.
That's awesome.
To say in short, yeah, that's a whole nother show, but...
So, what are we going to be listening to today? Because from what I understand, you don't have any actually released music.
What I'm going to start off with is a retrospect. I'll go back to when I started as 7D and some of the earlier music I was making at the time, and I'll build it up to what I'm doing now currently.
So what kind of music would you categorize yourself as playing? I know that's a hard question to answer.
What I call it is bass fusion, which is pretty much a mixture of everything I grew up listening to. And I'd say my largest influences have been, jazz, rock, hip-hop, and anything with a lot of bass in it. I love bass music. So.
And you're in the right place. You're in the right city for bass. That's
exactly,
for sure.
Exactly. I think that's why, that the universe takes care of itself, and I think the laws of attraction just brought me here.
And also, you've always been a huge Miami fan.
I got a lot of slack for living in Minnesota and wearing University of Miami gear everywhere I went. Like, you look at any old school picture of me as a little kid, you would have thought I was raised in Miami, except for the fact I was wearing a parka jacket.
Well, I mean, it's nice to have you here, and it's an honor to finally have you play here at University of Miami. So this is 7D here on Searchparty. If you guys have any questions or comments for this guy, that number is 786-309-8861. Again, that number is 786-30-WVUM1. Keep it locked to the voice. Yo, what's up, guys? You're listening to WVUM 90.5, the voice of the University of Miami. We finally have the whole crew here. Chris finally arrived. So that was 7D live and sort of in person over the radio. That was an awesome set, and we sort of got the feel for like how you sort of sample all the different things you really enjoy. I found a little bassy, dubby sort of things happening at the end, and it was a lot of awesome stuff. Actually, we got a question in from one of the texters saying, ask 7D why we get goosebumps when we hear certain songs. Maybe he knows.
Well, then you're tuned into exactly what I'm trying to do, because I really try to make music that evokes emotion. So I'm really happy to hear that from you, because believe me, I get goosebumps when I'm playing.
Well, yeah. So what did we just hear?
Well, those are tracks I wrote probably about a year and a half ago. Those are some of the tracks that were staples in my sets when I first started performing as 7D. So we're gonna get a little deeper into some of the, that's probably it for some of the old stuff. Actually, we're going to go way back, because you had a request to hear a song I recorded when I was 5 years old.
This track, if I'm allowed to tell, the first track you ever recorded ever, you were 5 years old, and who recorded the song?
Oh, it was recorded in my home, in my basement. I had the luxury of growing up. I had parents who were musicians. My father was a great guitar player. And all my father's bandmates trusted him to keep all their gear at his house. So I had access to the drums, to keyboards, any kind of instrument I wanted to play. It was always, at my disposal at my house. So
this was the first ever recorded song by Andre, and with accompanying father, I assume?
No, he'd probably just press the record button. It was actually the drummer of my dad's band wrote the lyrics. And my sister's doing backup laughter. She's giggling away, so anybody knows my little sis, that's her in the background making all that noise. And how it was recorded is I was actually seated, behind the drummer, and he was holding my hands during most of the segment. So believe me, I'm not that great of a drummer. You'll be able to tell when we play this track. You'll be able to tell when I'm the one hitting the drums. It's obvious. It's a 5-year-old. That's a 5-year-old playing the drums.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, before we hear that track real quick, anything else you wanted to say about the tracks we just heard? Are there names to these tracks?
There's a few. You know what? A lot of those tracks you just heard, those are all available. You can see those. You can download some of them on my SoundCloud. So look up 7D on SoundCloud.
Is that spelled out SEVEN?
Spell 7 SEVEN and the letter D. That's it.
Awesome. And SoundCloud, pretty straightforward. Yeah, we seem like we've got a lot of interested listeners in your music. We've got a text from Fanny saying, "Hey, so I heard that 7D on air, and whatever's playing isn't released, but I have to know where to get this. I'm still parked in the driveway blasting away." Oh, that rhymed
I'm so
at the
grateful
end.
to hear that. Yes, one of my biggest thing is sound modeling, and the keyboard that I use I've had for over 10 years, and I use it to emulate natural instruments. Like my father was a guitar player. Neither one of us took any formal lessons. My father was completely self-taught, and so am I. And having access to all that musical equipment when I was young, I really gravitated towards the keyboard, because at the time, synthesizers, you could play any instrument you wanted on a synthesizer. Yeah. And I kind of like to pretend I was like every different member of my dad's band. So, that was the one way I could get into doing that. So, like I said, modeling sound is one of my favorite things to do, and really, I've modeled a lot of my sound after my own father. Since I couldn't play guitar as well as he did, I spent most of my life playing the piano, and I've managed to somehow, kind of emulate my father in a way.
Yeah, make your keyboard sound like a guitar.
Exactly.
Right. So you were explaining that this keyboard is sold and you don't bother buying a new one, but I guess I don't see why you would, because you have all of your sounds loaded up onto there.
Exactly.
Do you have like a...
It's become my voice over the years. Like everybody has a voice or a certain sound that resonates with them, and that also people can identify them with. And I've, through my use of this board and doing all the shows with it, we have a lot of history together. I'm not going to let this thing go for a while.
It's got sentimental value, even
exactly,
if it loses keys and buttons. But...
Although computers have really caught up to the hardware, there was a time, when I was producing music and hardware was the way to go. But computers have gotten so fast now, you can do a lot of the same stuff on a computer that you used to only be able to do with hardware. So.
Yeah, for sure.
But I like mixing the two. I like blending acoustic. Like I sample a lot of hand drumming. I take sounds from everyday things in life, like especially my car inspires me the most. I drive this crazy hoopty that makes the wildest noises, and you wonder where all these glitchy wobble bass sounds come from. Well, a lot of it's inspired by my car.
That's awesome.
I'm almost don't want to fix it yet because it inspires me so much. But
That's awesome. That's really cool. I like that. Well, anything you want to say about the tracks coming up?
Well, we'll play this one track, and then we'll get into some newer stuff. So we'll drop that track I recorded back in the 80s when I was knee-high to a grasshopper.
All right, for sure. And then we'll talk about your upcoming shows and stuff, so everybody knows where to go see you at. All right, this track is an old one. So
Retro.
Super retro.
Yeah. I'm gonna tell you a little story about a guy named Andre. Andre Cryback. Yeah. Well, one day his dad went down to the local music store and he laid out $50 for a cheap Ludwig set. Andre got so damn good at this goddamn drum set that his dad says, well, we'll buy him $1 million set of Gretsch. And Andre just looked at that and he said, wow! And here's how he sounded. Well, he practiced and he practiced until he got so good. And one day his mom and dad came down to the basement. They looked in amazement as this little boy, only 5 years old, started playing. And here's how it sounded.
All right, guys, that was 7D in his younger years.
That was Mini 7D.
Mini 7D. And that was a long, long time ago with the help of his dad and his dad's friends. But that was, I guess we kind of got a taste of your past musical upbringing. But we got actually a text in from somebody saying, is there a certain type of ritual that you do to get yourself into the mindset of making your music and perform live with it? That was from Verse Train. I don't know if you know Verse Train, but it sounds kind of familiar.
No, great name. But no, I mean, my ritual is every day. I mean, really, like I said, everything inspires me. And my name's Seven Dimension. Really, I just call me Mr. Music Head because that's everything. I can't even dance because of it. I have this horrible complex where I can only dance from the shoulders up because I'm constantly reverse engineering music in my head every time I hear it. So, you know.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's my excuse for not dancing.
Yeah,
Sorry.
okay.
I just like to watch other people dance, so I guess that's why I make music.
Pretty legitimate excuse, actually.
That's all right. That's okay. But as long as you provide us with the music to dance to. So.
But my ritual has been, you know, I went through a long time in my life just listening to a lot of really great music, and my parents being musicians exposed me to a lot of wonderful stuff at a young age, and very interesting music that most people my age never listened to. You know, I was listening to King Crimson, like all kinds of progressive rock bands, and Chick Corea was one of my main influences to play the piano. And I got to meet him when I was 5 years old. And I had no idea. I was too young to even understand what I was being exposed to or what I was experiencing at the time. But now, now I look back and I'm like, wow, I'm very blessed to have those experiences. And, you know, your output is equivalent to your input, you know, and I've had a lot of interesting input in my life. You know, it's part of my rituals, studying music and going back to some of the classics and some of the things I grew up listening to and getting ideas from that as well.
If anybody's interested in going to see 7D perform live, there's a couple shows coming up.
First and foremost, the next event coming up this weekend on Saturday the 30th, Basil Vandals at Fusay Studios. And that's at 327 Northeast 59th Terrace. And if you hook up with me on Facebook or SoundCloud, just look up 7D. All the information's there.
It should be super fun. So what's the next one that's going to happen? If you guys aren't
next
too
event,
Basil busy.
I'll be performing at the Moksha Art Fair, and that'll be Saturday the 7th. And
Moksha always has so much. The the best shows. There's always so much fun there. It's a great venue, and always a bunch of really awesome artists are going to be there, including this guy right here.
And Moksha for me it's really a special place for me because that is one of the first places I ever played at in Miami, and I could say I cut my teeth there. I've probably done more shows at Moksha with my South Florida family of musicians than any other place in South Florida, and it's truly a beautiful event. It's a great venue, and it always brings out some of the best people and some of the best creative art, that South Florida has to offer and beyond. Because this year they're going to be featuring Allison Gray are going to be there painting live.
Ooh.
And it's going to be an amazing event. So if you can't make this Saturday, don't miss next Saturday. Next Saturday is going to be something I've never done before. So this is going to be a unique experience. I'm doing a silent disco. So
what? Never been to a silent
it's going to be
disco?
very intimate. So I think I'm going to play some of my very soulful, moody, total, I want to get your goosebumps back up, whoever you were that was listening earlier. You come out there and hear that, I definitely got some stuff for your goosebumps.
Yeah, for anybody who doesn't know what a silent disco is, from what I know, it's there's a DJ who's playing, but everybody's listening on these wireless headphones. Yeah. So everybody's listening. There's two DJs playing, and you can tune into either one, and everybody's dancing basically to the beat of their own drum, or whichever drum they choose to dance to. It's really cool, and so that's going to be super exciting. So why don't we hear a little bit more 7D, and you can decide which event you're going to attend, or maybe both. All right, coming up, we've got some more 7D here on Search Party. If anybody has anything else they would like to comment or ask Andre, that number is 786-30-WVUM1. Again, that number is 786-309-8861. Keep it locked. Yo, what's up, guys? You're listening to WVUM 90.5. All right, this is Search Party with 7D. Oh my God, my back. Okay, it's better. Oh, I'm a young soul. I could bounce back real quick. Okay, that came at the wrong time. But anyways, we're back with 7D here on Search Party. What did we just hear?
That was a new track. I mean, those last three tracks are not even named. They're like 60.1. The other one's 63.5. Yeah. I have a catalog of songs that is just ridiculous that I haven't even named yet. So
that's awesome. Well, I'm glad
played some fresh stuff for you.
I'm glad you whipped some out for this special occasion. So we actually had somebody texting in, who's playing right now? Well, now you know it's 7D.
7D.
For anybody who missed it, 7D is playing live for Basel Vandals at, where is this happening?
Fusay Studios.
Fusay Studios. There's information on the website, I assume?
Yep, on Facebook and SoundCloud. You link up with me there. All the information for all my upcoming events. I have at least 3 or 4 in the next week, and they're all great events. I didn't mention I do have an opportunity. This is something I'm really excited for. Next Thursday, actually December 12th, at the Stage, I'm going to be performing with Minnesota, who's never been to Florida before.
Oh, yeah.
And he's been a great
Minnesota.
inspiration to me. He's, his music. The funny thing is I'm from Minnesota. And like a year ago, I was just like scanning the internet and I'm looking for new music and stuff. And I kind of wanted to see what was going on in my hometown. So I just typed in bass music Minnesota. And this cat's name came up. And I just had the opportunity to see him. Actually one of the highlights of my musical career this year was performing at Burning Man.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I got to perform Saturday night right after the man burned at Spanky's right on the Esplanade. And besides that experience, going to see Minnesota at Burning Man, it was an epic journey. I have to tell you, on my way to Burning Man, I got injured. And ended up I rode on a bus from San Francisco with 20 people. And obviously, there was just way too many people on that bus. And so I wake up like halfway between Reno and San Francisco screaming like, hey, get off my foot. And there was like 4 people like rolled over on my foot. And I'm like, oh this is going to make my week very interesting. So
no.
I realized at that point, this isn't going to heal in a couple days. So I get to Burning Man, and I was without a bicycle, which made it even rougher. And so but Thursday night was my first chance to go out and see Minnesota perform. And so I figure, okay, I'm going to go see the place he's performing that's closest to where I'm at, so I don't have to limp too far. And I get to this place he's supposed to be performing, and he's not there. He doesn't show up.
Oh.
And I was very disappointed nonetheless. And I'm like, okay, I'm looking at my schedule. Okay, he's playing again in like an hour and a half, but it's about 5 miles away.
Oh, God.
Through the desert. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to have to walk across the desert. Maybe I'll score a community bike. I can find a bike I can take on the way there. But it didn't happen. I ended up walking all the way across the desert. But
That's like an old grandpa story.
Yeah.
I walked 5 miles
I got to tell you,
in
Camp
the
Question
desert.
Mark, those guys at Camp Question Mark, they know how to throw a good show out there. That was worth the walk. And I had a great time. It was really worth seeing Minnesota. So I hope you guys come out and check him out at the Stage on December 12th. And I'll be performing right after him. So it's a great honor and a pleasure for me to play alongside somebody, that's inspired me a lot. And,
That's
this
awesome.
show on the 12th, make it out there because I'm going to do something special for y'all.
It's going to be super fun. So that, again, is at the Stage next week.
It'll be December 12th.
Yeah,
It'll be on Thursday.
There's all this information on Facebook. Everybody's really dying to promote this thing. Anders is also, he was actually asking if maybe Minnesota wanted to come on for an interview, which would be cool. So we'll see how that works out. But in any case, try and get the info on that. Maybe you be down to go and have a great time. But in any case, we got 7D playing live right now. So what are we going to hear next?
I got some more newer stuff, some stuff that's I've only played at live shows, and maybe one song I've never even played before, so I got a little treat for you. So I got about 3 more tracks, and then I'll be good to go. You'll have to come hear the rest at my shows.
Awesome. So again, this is Andre of 7D playing live here on Search Party. So yeah, if you guys have any questions or comments for the man, give me a call or shoot me a text. That number is 786-309-8861. Again, that number is 786-30 WVUM1. Keep it locked. You guys are listening to Search Party. We just finished up 7D set. Thanks for coming on and thanks for listening. You want to say a little bit about these tracks before we do our last little goodbyes?
I think I just said it all, by playing them.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Because unfortunately they're not named. They're so new. Like the last one I could tell you was 67.0. So if you want to hear that track again, just scream 67.0 at my next show, and I'll drop it for you. Okay?
For sure. So just to recap, this guy is playing live. He's going to be playing at Basil Vandals. He's also playing at Moksha, and he's also playing at the Stage. You have 3 chances to go see him, or you could go see him 3 times. So all of those details, if you want to check him out, that's 7D, SEVEND, the letter D, like the 7th dimension, on SoundCloud or Facebook, and, talk to him there. He's actually really nice.
Thank you.
So you want to make any shout-outs before we sign off?
I do. I really appreciate you. Thanks for inviting me on here. And my man Phantasmin over here on the side here. The whole Telekinetic family, Dusthead, all my boys, Warp 9. Love all y'all. I'll see you at the next show.
All right, for sure. All right, guys. If you guys have any last-minute questions for this guy, that number is 786-309-8861. Now is actually the time for requests, seeing as Chris is now going to do a 1 hour. He's going to do a 1 hour rotation. So get in those requests. And I'm going to be posting the recording of this set up on my blog. That's jointhesearchparty.tumblr.com. You can also check Search Party out on Facebook. That's facebook.com/jointhesearchparty. Next week, I don't really know what's going on because everybody's all over the place, seeing as it's Thanksgiving and everything. But I hope everybody does a great job of eating lots of food. Be you vegetarian, vegan, pescatarian, meat eater, hopefully not cannibal, but you do what you gotta do. All right, guys.
I have one thing to say though. Since you mentioned that, the one thing that really ticks me off, I'm really against vegetarians eating animal crackers. Just don't do that in front of me, okay? Thank you.
It's really offensive. All right, guys. Keep it locked to the voice.